The 2-1. Lindor towards right center field. This one is back. It is gone! Grand slam! And Lindor puts the Mets on top. The biggest swing of the season for New York.
3-second differential. Shot clock, game clock. Shot clock down to 5. Here's Towns from 3. It's gone! Karl Anthony Towns with the dagger. 3-point field goal.
Knicks regain their composure. Towns, deep 3-ball with the switch.
Welcome everybody, welcome to another post-game show. I'm your host, David from Top Bunk Sports, and today we are going to talk about the game that we just witnessed a couple hours ago. A really good game at that. Two top contenders, obviously the Knicks, went to OKC and they lost by a score of 117 to 107. A heartbreaker, man. And I think this all first, let me get the positives out the way first. I think the Knicks played a game where they showed their true potential. They showed who they are. They showed what they're going to do this year, and that's to try to win a chip. This is where they're at. This is where they consistently shown that they can be, right? But that fourth quarter, you go into that fourth quarter, Jalen Brunson's not in, Cat's not in. Obviously, Tibbs took them out because they were tired. They put him back in within the 6-minute mark of the game, and they just couldn't find nothing, man. They went into that run where they scored 35 points in the second quarter and really just dominated that whole quarter right there. Like, guys were getting steals. Anunoby had like 3 steals, transition buckets left and right. They were grabbing defensive rebounds and pushing the pace. Like, they were beating OKC at their own game. It came back to bite us in the ass towards the fourth quarter, but they were up. At one point, they were up 14 on OKC. And, you sit there and like, yo, if we can continue this method and kind of get this going, let's go. Let's do it. You know what I'm saying? Let's try to duplicate that in the second half. The guys, you could tell they got tired. You could tell they got tired, and you could tell that OKC, when they started scoring, they hit like 2 threes back to back, right? And Tibbs called the timeout. Ever since that, they really couldn't muster up no consistency on offense. And that's an OKC team that you look at them, and again, they're number 1 in the Western Conference. They are number 1 in opponent points per game, right? So they're the number 1 defensive team in the league right now. And they're riding high. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're coming into this game on a 13-game win streak. Like, that's that right now, they can't be stopped. And when you're facing a team that can't be stopped, all bets are off. You gotta go in there with the mindset of, we gotta play our best basketball. We gotta go in there. We gotta dominate. All bets be off at this point. We gotta go out there and we gotta really serve up what we came here to do. I personally think that the Knicks played fine today up until that fourth quarter, but I also think there's a lot of adjustments to be made. They play them next week. OKC's coming down to New York over here. We play them next week. Now, that's a matter of us having to go ahead and really make adjustments, especially in that fourth quarter. I would say this, you can't take chances where you're going to be playing like, okay, OKC is a team that there's a lot of wings on that team, right? They don't have much size at the guard position, but there's a lot of wings on that team that can clamp you up defensively. They show it. They show it all the time, right? Now, if you're not moving the ball, if you're not scoring at a consistent pace, if you're not, making plays, moving without the ball against a team like that, they're gonna destroy you and they're gonna make you pay for it. And in that fourth quarter, it just looked like they were dead. And I think the key thing for me is that they only had 1 assist that entire quarter. When you only have one assist that entire quarter and you can't find no shots, again, that's a recipe for disaster. That's a loss right there. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things where you look at it and now you're in a situation where you could be you could be winning, yes, of course, but you can also be in a situation where now it's like, yo, we got to take advantage of their mistakes because again, they were getting at one point the Knicks out rebounded them, and they were capitalizing on Oklahoma City's turnovers. It just so happens that they got into the fourth quarter and everything just collapsed. Let's look at some starter points and some stats. Mikal Bridges obviously played 41 minutes. I mean, this right here, let's just look at this for a second, right? All these guys are playing high usage minutes. 41 for Mikal, 43 for OG Anunoby, 42 for Karl Anthony Towns, 40 minutes for Jalen Brunson, 44 for Josh Hart. You know what I'm saying? Like that's OD. Now I don't care what the excuse is. Oh, they're in the NBA, they should be used to it. No, that's OD, right? Mikal had himself a solid game, 10 for 19 from the field. He wasn't shooting the ball well from the arc, but defensively he was on it today. 2 assists, 1 steal, 1 block, 2 turnovers. He was a -10 on point differential, but he had 24 points today, man. And again, when this is what you want from a Mikal Bridges. This is what you want from a guy that you gave up all those draft picks for. You know what I'm saying? Not only is he going to bring it defensively, but he could score the basketball at any point. Again, he could shoot the three, but he's one of the best mid-range shooters in the game today. I don't think anybody is better. You look at OG Anunoby, right? Shot 7 of 13 from the field, went 3 of 7 from three. It's perfect from the free throw line. Was a -12, but had scored at 20 points. Mikal Bridges was able, OG Anunoby, excuse me, was able to stay in front of his defender and really play some solid defense. He was able to get some transition dunks as that was going along. Obviously, he had one where he, fell off and landed on his, surgically repaired elbow, and that was a little bit of a scary moment because you're just like, you don't need that at this time. You know what I'm saying? Like the Knicks are trying to play the most important games that they have to go make that push. Then you look at Karl Anthony Towns, 42 minutes, shot 17 of 13 from the field. He didn't even attempt a three, which thank God, because I was gonna put a parlay today and I didn't, and I was gonna put him for a three. So look at that. He had 18 rebounds, defensive rebounds, 22 altogether, 4 assists, three steals, 2 turnovers. He was a -6 with 17 points. This is a game where you would want Karl Anthony Towns to be just a little bit better. Obviously, that takes within time because now he's going against one of the best centers in the league right now with Isaiah Hartenstein. Obviously, he got paid, and they're trying to basically use him in different ways now. And you could tell in that game tonight where he was bringing up the ball and he was setting picks, he was facilitating the ball, getting guys in their spots, giving the ball the right way. The spacing was crazy. We talk about the Knicks spacing with Karl Anthony Towns. The spacing with Isaiah Hartenstein is nuts. I think that's one of the key things that if they didn't have Karl Anthony Towns, the Knicks would have reached that in tremendously because the spacing was amazing tonight, and he utilizes that. Jalen Brunson tonight, 40 minutes, he shot 9 of 23 from the field. He was 0 for 5 from three. That's another guy I was going to put for three, and look at that. He had 22 points. He was a -3 in point differential with 9 assists. Again, that assist number for Jalen Brunson is key. A lot of people don't give him his credit when it comes to sharing the rock and moving the ball. Tonight, he was getting guys in his spots, in there, moving the ball, attacking when he needed to attack, but getting guys involved to be better in that game to help to give him a chance to win it. And I think that's what a point guard is. It's not all about scoring the basketball. It's trying to get your teammates involved, trying to get them in their spots within certain plays, so that way they can start scoring. Your team can start winning. So shout out to Jalen Brunson for that tonight. And then Josh Hart, obviously, 8 for 15 from the field, 2 of 7 from three. Team didn't really shoot well from three. I mean, you could just kind of tell they shot 28.1%. They were 9 for 32, and he had he had 19 points. Excuse me, 19 points today for Josh Hart after coming off of back-to-back triple doubles, and it's a wake up call. I mean, even you look at the scoreboard right here, right? I mean, we were only down by 3 after the first quarter. Then all of a sudden, they only scored 21 points in the second, and we scored 36. We had them up, like probably by 14. At 14, and right then and there, I said if they can duplicate that in the third quarter, going into the fourth, and just put the icing on the cake in the fourth, we win this game. Now you look at the difference right here, right in the third and the fourth quarter, 22-26, right? So we were giving up the lead little by little, still scoring here and there, but giving the lead up little by little, and then disastrous fourth quarter where they ended up scoring 37 points on us compared to the 19 points that we scored. Scored 117 over the 107, where it's a heartbreaker. Like I said, you want to go in there, you want to be able to win those type of games. It means a lot. Because even though it is in the middle of January, those are games that you want to win because of who they are and what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? You want to show that you're the best in the league. It don't matter if you're playing a team on the West Coast. Like we did today, right? You have your teams that are dominating the West Coast, and you look at that team, and you're like, "Yo, we're playing great. I want to go destroy them." It's the same thing with the Celtics. The same thing with the Cavaliers. So, it just situations like that you play, but you cannot, in my opinion, I think they played an exceptional game today. Obviously, other than that collapse in the fourth quarter, I think it's one of those things where you got to be proud of yourself. And now you know how they play, you know how they run their offense, you know how their pace is, right? You know how they are defensively. Next week, the Knicks play OKC again in the Garden. You take care of business. You take care of business. You do what you got to do, and it's that's what it is. It's at the end of the day, you got what you got, and you got to be able to go ahead and take care of business and just really show them that you're out there and that you're a better team than what you showed today in that fourth quarter, and really utilize your bench. The bench really has been a problem. They've only scored 19 points the entire year. That to me is a head scratcher, and that's a problem. When your starters are not in the game and they're consistently tired, and you don't use your bench like that, or your bench can't get consistent points, that's a problem. Because if Jalen Brunson needs a rest, if Karl-Anthony Towns needs a rest, if Mikal Bridges needs a rest, if Josh Hart needs a rest, and you put in these guys to at least factor something until these guys get back. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, I don't understand. Like, we just can never, and it's not, again, I understand the whole Tibbs conversation, people putting Tibbs in there or whatever. You gotta put Tibbs, at the front four and kind of blame them. And I get it. But it's like when he does put them in there, right? They even when we have a large, it's like, okay, I'll give you an example. When we played Minnesota and we blew them out, right? I think by the 5th minute of the fourth quarter, the Timberwolves basically just waved the white flag, and they said, we'll just put in our bench. Tom Thibodeau did the same thing, put in the bench. Yo, that bench could not score. It was basically free will at that point. It was basically free will. And it was just like you're saying there, like, yo, even though we do have this game in the bag, they can't score it. They cannot score it. It's here, Jericho Sims doesn't have a post move. I don't know about Hakaporti. You know what I'm saying? I know Jacob Toppin is solid, but those are guys that you cannot count on to really give you, consistent minutes like that if you ever have to bring them in. Now you have Precious Achua, you got Mitchell Robinson maybe coming off the bench. You have options there. But I just think it's one of those things where it's like the rest of the guys in your bench, they cannot be trusted. They can't, because the way that they're playing when they're being put in the game and the game is a blowout, it looks sloppy. It looks sloppy. So, it's a game today that you could have won. Obviously, our 9-game winning streak is snapped. That's unfortunate, but you live and you learn. And our record goes to 24-11. It was a true test. And again, for the most part, I was proud up until that fourth quarter. I really thought Jalen Brunson and the Knicks had a chance to take victory in this game and just go ahead and really put a stamp on it that the Knicks are here. we have a game on Saturday tomorrow against Chicago Bulls. It's Derrick Rose night, so that's going to be pretty special. Obviously, for those that don't know, Derrick Rose was a former Knick legend at that. So it's going to be dope to see him go ahead and bask in that moment, because I think he deserves it. He deserves it after everything that he's gone through as a player. And yeah, man. Listen, okay, you gotta like I said before, the key thing that sticks out to me is the fact that the Knicks only had 1 assist in the fourth quarter. If the Knicks were able to move the ball better, if the Knicks were able to communicate on defense, if the Knicks were able to set defensive plays and get into that offensive rhythm after your defense has been taken care of, right? If your defense is there, if your offense could take care of what they need to take care of tonight, especially how they played in that second quarter, I think we come out with the win. But like I said, the blessing in disguise is that they come here next week. We protect home court advantage, and we know what we saw. We know what we saw, and we know what we got to take care of. Right? So tomorrow's game is is in Chicago against the Bulls. Derrick Rose night, man. I do appreciate everybody, just checking this post game out. Nothing crazy, nothing too long. I just want to do a short one, kind of give my opinion on the game a little bit. Nothing crazy. Like I said, another post game will be out tomorrow after tomorrow's game against Chicago. So stay tuned in that. It is your boy David, and I am out. See you on the next video.